we are coming back. I was kind of doing something that actually it's funny how it correlates with the video because it is what the video is about. But we're gonna go into that later. And also, I'm gonna try to post more often. So, yeah, stay tuned. And yeah, so what I was, I guess, doing on that little hiatus was gaining perspective, and that's what this video is about: gaining perspective. It's about the importance of that and how the lack of perspective and actually I'm gonna change it perspective and understanding because a lack of perspective creates lack of perspective um, is kind of keeping people in a narrow scope of their ideology, which as we kind of see today, it causes our world to be as divided, as divisive, as hate, as fear filled as possible, as you can imagine. And then you also have the understanding, which is something that perspective can never teach. No, that's wrong. Wrong. Perspective can teach that, but it's not like it doesn't always teach that. A lot of times you gain a lot of perspective, but it there's multiple types of perspective. So we're just gonna go straight into it. Bada bing, bada. All right. So different types of perspective. So there's perspective and like how to apply it and like why you need it. Yeah. So straight perspective. There's perspective, ego perspective, and I'm completely creating this up on my own. And you don't have to. Yeah, this is just stuff that kind of made sense in my own brain. But that's just the perspective that you see through your environment, or you gain because you, I guess, feel inclined to learn knowledge about the thing that you believe in, or the thing that you like, or the thing, it could be simple as like, wanting, like, I love the Pittsburgh Steelers, and learning about their history, gain some perspective on that. You can go from Antonio Brown, Ben Roethlisberger to Mel Blount, Lynn Swan. Simple example. And you carry that on to more, I guess, more prevalent things such as biases, opinions, biases on things like politics. Yeah. And that perspective, that's one aspect of gaining perspective. And then there is forced perspective based on your environmental experiences, stuff that you can't control, stuff that happens in your life that happen, and you gain perspective on that, whether you like it or not, because it happened. And a lot of times it's some perspective that aren't good, but a lot of times it's perspective that's good. And then there's also something called universal perspective, which, in my humble opinion, is something that I truly believe can save the world. Not save the world, because eons and eons. We already know the Earth's gonna collide, or something's gonna happen. There's a scene in the Ghost Story movie, a movie called The Ghost Story, which explains it all. I mean, it's pretty nihilistic, but it's an interesting scene. Um, um, Sorry, I got a call there. So I guess, yeah, going on. I think what universal perspective is essentially gaining a holistic or gaining knowledge, but in a holistic view, in which like you're getting it from both sides of anything, of any argument or opinion basis. That's why you look at the world as you look at everything through you look at everything as a circle instead of a line. Like like the circle of life. It's kind of like you kind of just rotate around what, just like you put a topic, like, I don't know, like economics. But I mean, you look at it. You go from let's just say you go into Thomas Sowell and capitalism, and then you scroll. You go to Karl Marx, and then you scroll, and then you scroll, and then you scroll, and you scroll. So you make a circle. It's a swirl, and then what happens is you swirl, and then you make a pasta. It's kind of like making a you got the egg yolks, you get the egg, you swirl all this perspective in, and then what it creates is, you swirl something like with the ego perspective. You swirl something with just one side or one ingredient. You get that. You just get that plain. You get what you want. You get that. You get no. But the thing is, when you gain it with everything, you swirl the entire universe's perspective, and you get that flavor. You get that flavor. You get that flavor. You get the onions. You get the chives. You get the you know what I'm saying. And I think that is really I think, in my opinion, that is one of the things, as I said before, that can I'll get into that later. But okay, so why I think we all need to gain perspective. Well, as I said before, you've seen this world today. It's divisive. It's divisive. It's hate-filled. It's separating. It's a lot of things, because people tend to hold on to whatever they believe on, and they kind of, you got the baseline of believing something without perspective, which I think is, that's another thing that I think is detrimental to our society, is believing something based with no base, or like it's like saying, like, oh, I support this, or oh, I love something, but I don't have a reason to love that, which I think is like, there definitely is a reasoning, but either you're ignoring it, or you just don't care to look further, which, I mean, isn't like it doesn't. I guess everyone has individual choice, but I think just narrowing your scope into that perspective, then it's like what you flat out see. You just don't see anything else, but you're just stuck at that level, which is, I think, the pretty baseline level, which, I mean, I guess for a lot of people, it's satisfactory to them, and I don't hate them for it, but I just don't like when that level causes all this, hatred, fear, and anger that's so unnecessary, and not even unnecessary, even further than that. I think it's just flat out just dumb. I mean, that's just, I don't, yeah. But then we gain perspective. I mean, and that's perspective on it. I understand why people do it, and I mean, I don't even think it's dumb. I think that was my egotistical perspective on it. But you know what I mean. And then you got people, having beliefs and gaining knowledge about that belief, but only gaining knowledge about that belief, that specific belief, which leads them to see with their own belief with a wider perspective, like the baseline people, but then they don't see the perspective, the antithesis, the enemy, which, not the enemy, I mean, it's in our world it's called enemy, but in my opinion it's just opposite, and everything in life, everything has an opposite. It's yin and yang. You got light, darkness, you got chaos, order, you got love, fear, or love, hate, whatever your forte is, or no, I don't, not the mark, or your whatever your preferential choice is. And yeah, I said it was like brain freeze, or I start forgetting. Yeah, give me a second. Give me a second, recoup. But okay, so yeah, that's the problem with the ego perspective, I was like to call it, because it's like, there's, I forget who said it, but like, this was, I guess this is more of an argument, not an argument, but this guy was, I think it was Plato, I'm not sure if it was, but he said, like, if you don't know your opponent's argument better, or the person argument better than your own argument, your argument is just, I forget what he said after, but that first part, I remember the first part, and I think that's like, that's the thing that because you'll never understand the other person, and then it'll just cause you to like the baseline level. It'll cause you so many just false, I mean, maybe even not false, but like so generalized opinions that in the larger perspective, when you look at it from the third level perspective, it's just pointless, and it doesn't lead to anything. Having these, like, calling, one side this and that, it just, there's no value to that. It's not helping society in any other way. And then you went to the third perspective, which is the next level. It's the next level, and it's the bada bam, bada boom. It is the um ego. No, it's the universal perspective, and the universal perspective is is something that, in my opinion, can as I said multiple times in this video, can unite mankind. It can help people free themselves from all these things that are holding them back, and can help create a society in which, I don't think there's never going to be a utopian society, but I think it can create a society in which it's kind of, more generous in the way where in a way which in the way which you are viewed, in which you are treated, because I do really believe in the power of will and confidence, and from a psychological perspective, getting getting being kind of seen as loved, and being seen as being seen as, you are, no, whatever your opinion is, we still love you no matter what, or seeing that, we're proud of you, or we just kind of like that kind of mindset where it's, people value each other's humanity before their opinions, kind of society. And this goes for everything, every person, left and right. Or I don't even like how we label people based on what they believe in. I think we should label people. I don't think we should label people in general, but if we were to label people, I think it should be on character, not on content. I think I think I think what you are is way more important than who you are. And I think this universal perspective, which, to break it down to, I guess, is basically just trying to gain perspective on literally everything, like getting perspective on from your side, your neighbor's side, whatever, getting perspective from like conservative perspective, liberal perspective, perspective on movies, music, um, expanding your radical vulnerability, gaining that exposure to new things. I think that is very vital. I think that can tremendously change someone. At least that's what it did for me. I kind of had this narrow outlook on society, but when I did that expansive perspective, I think I became more holistic. Kind of like Mr. Miyagi said, balance. Well, I kind of found that balance in life, which I never really felt with that one-sidedness. Um, um, and I think, I know for some people it's tough. There's tons of other things going on in their lives. A lot of people don't have time, which I think is, I think there are, I think, I do think time is hard. It's hard to say for me, at least, because I know there's people that have way more things to worry about, and it's kind of like it's tough for those who are living, or not living, but tough for those who just have so much going on their plate to even think about getting perspective and thinking about letting go of feelings and ideas are that are forced upon by that specific person's environment. But as the man himself, Viktor Frankl, once said, that in any situation, man does have one choice of action, no matter kind of what the amount of intensity it is, and it's their mindset. And I guess not even mindset. I'd be just how the way that they look at the situation they're in, and have that sort of control on how
I guess they perceive it, but also what you can do to essentially get out of it, if that's the end goal that you want. But yeah, the only way to do that, I guess, is gain perspective, or the gain that sort of control over your mind is perspective. Because if you don't have perspective, you're gonna be stuck in control of the knowledge that you know. And that's going back to what I said in the beginning about how um, that that the lesser knowledge you have on anything, it could be movies, music, film, or more serious stuff like life life changing decisions. The less perspective you have, the less ideas you have to tackle the situation that you're in, and the more perspective you have, um, the more I guess options you have. And also, what I've seen, at least personally, I'm pretty sure I explained the perspective in the beginning. Gaining that sort of universal perspective, that you know, increasing perspective has. Um, sorry, completely forgot. I was editing the video and I completely forgot this. But also, gaining perspective also helps you, not be subject to the control of the perspective you have, and how people, can, people's manipulation on that. And you can look at that from, a standpoint in any controversial thing. But yeah, go back to the video. Give me a more open, understanding, empathetic, understanding person than I was, like you'd say, like 2 or 3 years ago, when I was kind of lost in that single. I mean, I did have perspective, but it was single streamed. It was ego perspective. It was perspective without me questioning my own perspective, which explained at the beginning. But yeah, I think it's going to end it. So I guess, what are the best ways to gain perspective? Just keep exposing yourself to um, exposing yourself to everything. New music, movies, different perspectives on politics, or advice. Just yeah. And even if you disagree with it, I think the main thing is about at least having that knowledge. So if you never know when it might come in dandy. And it also, you never know how learning about perspective you disagree with, or you don't like, might actually end up changing how you view that specific subject at hand. And yeah, I think that's where we're gonna end. Uh Next week, try and drop a video every week. So yeah, like, subscribe. Peace out.